Does anyone else remember when a Yakuza pirate game concept got leaked, but nobody believed it because it just sounded too ridiculous? Well, it should come as no surprise that the Yakuza series continues to push its ridiculous boundaries by it turning out that was actually true. I was beyond excited for this game. I was excited to play as Majima again. I was excited to be a pirate. But more than anything, I was excited for more Yakuza. And after platinuming the game in 3 days because I have no life, I'm glad to report that Pirate Yakuza is fantastic. But before we get into the video, if you do end up enjoying it, then please consider subscribing, as we're trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But enough of that nonsense, let's get into the juicy stuff. Pirates and Yakuza. Two of the most legendary outlaw archetypes in history, and somehow RGG has managed to blend them together into something that feels completely natural. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza isn't just a pirate game with a Yakuza skin, it isn't necessarily just a Yakuza game with a pirate skin. It takes the deep emotional storytelling and brutal combat of the Yakuza series and seamlessly infuses it with the freedom and adventure of the high seas. If you've played any Yakuza game before, you will know that the Yakuza live and die by their own strict code of honour, but pirates, they play it by a completely different set of rules. And that's what makes this story so damn compelling. Majima isn't just some ordinary pirate, he's a former Yakuza who's washed up on a random island with memory loss. It's as ridiculous a premise as the Mad Dog of Shimano deserves. Of course, this wouldn't be a Yakuza game without the signature mix of intense drama and absolutely absurd side stories. The main plot revolves around a race for secret treasure, and you will find yourself caught up in all sorts of bizarre scenarios. I also love that the game is set in Hawaii again. If there's one thing that RGG love more than dragging Kiryu's husk of a body through the mud, it's reusing assets, and they were always going to make the most out of such a brilliant map, and I'm really glad it's returned in its entirety. What truly makes this fusion work is the story. Like every great Yakuza game, it's a mix of intense crime drama, deep character relationships, and moments that will hit you right in the feels. Majima isn't just sailing around looking for gold, he's trying to uncover the truth about his exile, reunite with lost allies, and survive in a world where betrayal is as common as the tide. The main ethos of the game is that life is worth living, that it's worthwhile to seek adventure whilst you can, so that when you're old and grey, you can look back on your life and smile. The game really puts a big emphasis on having fun, which sounds like a futile thing to say, as in theory, that's what every game does, but this ideology of adventure is baked into every core aspect of this game. The story begins with Majima washing up on a beach having no memory of who he is or how he ended up here. He's beaten, broken, and completely unaware of his past. This is where a literal child, Noah, comes in and saves his life. When he finds Majima, he brings him back to his people. From there, Majima is thrust into a world of pirates, betrayal, and a past that refuses to stay buried. He chooses to embrace this feeling of adventure, but the questions still remain. Who was he before this? What did he do? And why do so many dangerous people seem to recognise him, even though he remembers none of them? The deeper Majima dives into this mystery, the more he realises that his past isn't just a personal problem, it's a ticking time bomb. Because out there, in the heart of the pirate-infested seas, a war is brewing. And miraculously and characteristically, he is at the centre of it. But beyond the politics and the pirate battles, this is still a Yakuza story at heart. It's about loyalty, found family, and the choices we make about who we really are. Majima might not remember his past, but that doesn't mean he can't decide his future. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza isn't just about adventure, it's about moments. The kind that make you laugh, the kind that make you rage, and the kind that make you sit there in stunned silence. This game is packed with massive betrayals, shocking reveals, and emotional gut punches that hit hard. And trust me, some of these twists are just brilliant. Majima is also firing on all cylinders here. He's long been a fan favourite in this series, but he is just fantastic in this game. He may not have his memories, but he is very much still Majima. Some of his monologues are awe-inspiring. He steals the limelight from whoever else is in any scene. We've always yearned for more Majima, and now that we've got it, it was everything that I could have hoped for.
One day, one digit. I'll chop 'em off till there ain't nothing left to chop. We only leave the island when we're rich or we're dead.
Pirate Yakuza takes everything we love about the series, complex characters, intense rivalries and heart-wrenching moments, and throws it into the most unpredictable setting possible. With Majima at the helm, this is a story of rediscovery, revenge, and the fine line between freedom and chaos. Combat has always been one of the defining features of the Like a Dragon Yakuza series, and in Pirate Yakuza, they've taken it back to the beat-em-up style. Imagine the brutal street brawls of classic Yakuza games mixed with the elegance and sheer chaos of pirate ship battles. The result? Some of the most fluid, satisfying and completely over-the-top combat that the series has ever seen. But here's what makes it truly special. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza introduces two completely distinct combat styles, Mad Dog style and Sea Dog style, and you can switch between them seamlessly. If you've played the old school Yakuza games, Mad Dog is going to feel more familiar. This style is all about raw power, brutal hand-to-hand combat, and using your environment to your advantage. It's a direct evolution of the classic Yakuza fighting style with a little bit of Majima sprinkled in there. And just like past Yakuza games, the combat is crunchy and satisfying. Every punch lands with weight, and every knockout feels like you've just ended a big fight in the most dramatic way possible. You can juggle enemies in the air, you can jump now, and combining moves together feels so outrageously satisfying. This style is best used against single enemies, as you can inflict a hell of a lot of damage to single targets. This style also allows you to create duplicate Majimas, allowing you to absolutely overwhelm any enemy. Plus, the more Majima the better as far as I'm concerned. The Sea Dog style, on the other hand, trades brute force for deadly precision and fluid lightning fast attacks. Here you have a pistol that is insanely fun to use, quick steps look so much cooler in this style, and with your chain hook you can have so much fun with this, and also break the game. You can purchase an ability that allows you to use a heat action immediately after chain hooking someone, and given that using the chain hook is incredibly low skill, you just hold the circle button. This is abusable. Combine this with the champion ring, your reward for beating the Amon pirates in the Colosseum, and you essentially have a win now button, as the champion ring constantly refills your heat bar. Given I defeated the Amon boss at the start of chapter 4, the rest of the game became trivial for me. Anywho, cheese aside, this style works brilliantly against groups of enemies as your attacks hit multiple targets, and you can throw your cutlasses up forwards and continuously strike other enemies whilst you punch other ones. This style also gets the God instruments, which are rewards for completing the pirate side storyline that we'll get onto a bit later. And they are essentially just summons. This style is an absolute joke. You just summon a shark or a monkey or something and it just goes ham. And let's talk about something completely new for the Yakuza series, naval combat. The naval battles are generally fine. Once you've done 5 of them, you've kinda seen it all. It's not fully fleshed out. You have a right cannon, you have a left cannon, and a machine gun. There are some other elements. You can repair the ship, you can let go of the wheel and use a rocket launcher, throw a smoke grenade, but it never really evolves. It does feel a bit gimmicky, but it's fine for what it is. It doesn't appear as much as I thought it would in the main story, but my god, by the end of the Colosseum questline, I was absolutely done with the naval combat. Once you've crippled an enemy ship though, that's when the real action begins. You can swing across ropes, leap onto the deck, and immediately engage in brutal close quarters combat. Picture this. You're cutting through enemy pirates, switching between the two styles, dodging any sort of ultimate ability. It's absolute mayhem in the best way possible. You can also recruit pretty much anybody to join your crew. Everybody has stats such as how good they are with the cannon or how good they are in hand-to-hand combat. Some of them have unique abilities that can be utilised if you use them as a squad leader or a first mate. It really does create a sense of community and you really invest in levelling them up. You could probably just ignore most of this for the main story, but for the Colosseum it's crucial you get the most out of your crew. You can also upgrade your ship so that it does more power, more damage and stuff like that. It has more health. You can make it pink, you can decorate it however you like. It was really just these little things that really immersed me in the pirate aspect of the game. This is a Yakuza game, so of course it's filled with random side content. The major side storyline in this one is actually where the majority of the pirate gameplay comes into the fold. There's a dangerous faction called the Devil Flags, and you need to take them down. The formula for this is you discover treasure, you take out enemy ships in order to earn enough Devil Flags to challenge the next boss, where you can engage in a large scale battle against the clan. At the end of each one you unlock a new god instrument, rinse and repeat 4 times until you're done. I'm not going to pretend that this is the best side story that the series has ever had, but it's pirate themed, it was fun to experience, it gets a thumbs up from me. Also, doing this questline takes you to some ice regions, some fire regions. If you want to get the most out of the pirate aspect of the game, I highly recommend seeing this story through. The Colosseum, however, I actually hated. This gets so repetitive so quickly. It's just regular ship battles against ships with too much health and grindy deck battles. Bear in mind though, this is all entirely optional, so I'm not going to knock the game too much for it. I wanted the platinum, so I did it, but I didn't need to, and neither do you. Then there's the usual minigame stuff. Crazy Delivery returns. It's just as bonkers as ever. I don't know why, but this minigame just does something to me. I find it insanely fun. And then there's of course Sicko Snap, which is just as creepy as before. Dragon Kart returns from Yakuza 7. I love Dragon Kart for a bit. You don't need to do too much of it for the platinum in this game though, so I was fine with that. There's a live action dating thing, which is not my cup of tea at all. I found it extremely uncomfortable, but it's needing for the platinum, so here we are. There's also bounties. There's just a bunch of wanted criminals you can fight for money. It's not very engaging, but there's some fun fights. It's a great way to get money in the early game. And then, the general side stories I found pretty enjoyable. I don't remember any that are going to be ultra memorable in the grand scheme of things. Like, there are some side stories from Infinite Wealth, for example, that still resonate really well in my mind. Yakuza 0, there's a lot of stories. I played that game almost 10 years ago. Some of them I remember pretty much forever. I don't think there'll be any of those in this game, but alas, they were enjoyable at the time. That's good enough. So there you have it. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza is the perfect storm of crazy combat, deep storytelling, and a world that never stops surprising you. From Majima's journey of rediscovery to the insane side quests, it's a game that pulls you in and refuses to let go. It's got pirates, it's got Yakuza, and it's got Majima being Majima, so if you're looking for a game that's as unpredictable and wild as the high seas themselves, grab your sword, set sail, and get ready for one hell of an adventure. After all, a pirate's life isn't for everyone, but for Majima, it's just another day at the office. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, then please make sure to subscribe. Remember, we are trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Leave a like if you liked the video. I upload at least one video each week, but for now, that is all. Have a nice day, and goodbye.
Heave away, heave away, heave away! Goromaru full speed ahead. Heave